Well, hello everyone. I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, a parent's biggest concern, part one of our series on college funding with financial advisor John McDonough from the College Funding Institute. Welcome to this segment, John.
Thanks, Steve.
We're talking about child education. I don't think there's anything more dear to parents' hearts than their kids' future, and part of that future is college education. Why don't you walk me through, because I know we're just beginning to get into retirement planning. I don't think anybody's hardly doing college planning.
Well, the reason why I got into college planning is for the last almost 2 decades, I've been a retirement planner. And when I was helping clients prepare for retirement with inside of 5 years, why don't you have enough money that you thought you would have? And the 2 reasons were, number one, the stock market kicked their butt, and that's a different show for a different time.
Okay.
But the second reason is their kids' college education cost more than they ever thought it would cost, and that really ate into their retirement funds.
And they had no plan.
Well, they don't really have a developed plan. Everyone's got a plan, right? They don't give us a handbook when the kid's born and said, here's how you do it. So they have a way that they're going to try to just piecemeal it and put duct tape and Band-Aids together for a college plan. Their concern is that they feel like they're going to leave money on the table and pay too much for their kids' education.
Listen, you just said something. Is it really to the advantage and benefit for a parent to really, hey, baby born, we start right then and there?
Well, yeah, we've had 17 years to plan for this. This didn't exactly, college education didn't exactly sneak up on it, did it? Right? So we've had 17 years. Obviously, there's all these time value of money calculations. You can start earlier and it costs you less per month. The longer you wait, the more it's going to cost to send your kid to college.
All right, so procrastination is a big issue.
Huge issue.
Huge issue. All right, so you're all in of developing an actual standalone plan for college.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so is that a big deal for most clients? Is it a hard thing to construct?
Well, yeah, because they're looking at it only halfway. So there's 2 main components to developing a plan. Number one is you have to find the right school for the right fit, for the right reason, for the right degree program. Going to school just because their best friend goes there or their boyfriend or girlfriend, that's not a good reason. The other half is they have to look at what's the cost. How good is that school at giving potential financial aid dollars? Are they generous with their money? Are they going to want you to pay it all out of pocket?
When you're thinking about that, I'm scared by this second talking point. Most parents are making mistakes, and they're fearing making mistakes. Talk about this, because I think it's a legitimate issue. I have apprehension.
You should, and so should all of our clients. The reason why they're afraid of making mistakes is because most parents, unfortunately, are not 100% involved in this process. They're busy, they have responsibilities 9 to 5, then they have to do things after work, then they got to make dinner. They don't have the time to do everything involved, so their children are the ones, unfortunately, that are filling out the majority of the applications. Could your kids tell you exactly how much you make, you and your wife make?
Not back in the day, no.
But they're guessing at how much money mom and dad make and how much money mom and dad have, and they're making mistakes in the process.
Now, in a firm like yours, because you really center on college education. You're a full planner, but this is your main forte. Can you defer to somebody like yourself to do everything you just said so it's taken off their plate completely?
Absolutely. If done properly. So college planning is not just 529 plans. In fact, 529 plan is just one tool in the overall toolbox that's in the entire garage of resources that we have available. We outsource and use third-party companies to help us with the entire process, from student services to career profiling to matchmaking to degree assessments, everything all the way through to where do you get your loans from to properly pay for college.
I noticed on one of these talking points that you say you're doing something that'll hurt the child's chances of getting in. I'm thinking, like, that sounds so counterproductive. How often does that happen? I don't think anybody has ill will towards their own child. So how are they making these mistakes that could hurt their child's admission?
Well, it's a continuation of the previous point that I mentioned earlier. The children are the ones, unfortunately, doing the majority of the heavy lifting of the college applications. And then the parents heard that, well, Joey on the soccer team, they didn't get a whole lot of money, so don't even bother filling out the financial aid forms. Or such and such scored this score on their SAT or the ACT, but they didn't even get accepted. Unfortunately, parents use their friends, their neighbors, their cousins, sister brothers, thinking that that's the norm. every child, every school, every family situation is a little bit different, and you can't use what everyone else did for your strategy.
All right, so we're not going to use real estate comps or comparisons.
Right.
We're going to have to do this on an individual basis, which brings me to my thought, this is not a do-it-yourself activity. I mean, the way you're explaining it, it sounds like, hey, you need professional help here.
Over the last 30 years, college tuition has increased over 250%. Gone are the days where the kid can go to the state school, work a part-time job, maybe have a little bit of help from mom and dad, and graduate with zero student loan debt. Those days, that ship has sailed. This is not a do-it-yourself plan.
How much money, and maybe I'll get into this in a second, but I always think about how much do I need to borrow and how much is out there that's free money, grants, scholarships. I mean, you guys deal in this is where you live 24 hours, 7 days a week. And financial aid, I'd hate to do something, especially you just said my kid's filling out the application. Maybe there's the biggest problem. But I'm not getting financial aid because I don't know where to look. I don't know what to sign up for. And like you said, I heard my other neighbors talk about it. They didn't get it. Why would I get it? You discount yourself and disqualify yourself on aids that you could have received.
Yeah, absolutely. We find that most families, again, don't know where to go, where to turn. Let me ask you a question. If you could borrow money for 4.5 years at 0% to pay for something, would you do that?
All day long.
All day long, and you do it twice on Sunday. Most families don't even get that opportunity because they choose not to fill out the financial aid forms because their neighbor said they make too much money and they shouldn't do it. There's so much bad advice because the people that went before them didn't have good advice to help them out.
Okay, so by the time they get to another generation, and think about this, since the boomers have been out, now we have two generations. We have our kids and now these younger millennials. And we already put our retirement at risk because we had to fund all this because we couldn't find the financial aid to get this done.
That's right.
All right. So when you're doing this, you're looking at this, you look at this as a clientele issue because this is your number one area of expertise. You're looking at this to frame the best possible financial scenario. And one of the big things, and I hope you're hearing this, we do not compare ourselves with our neighbors anymore. This isn't a Joneses issue anymore.
No.
So this is a huge thing to overcome.
This is a retirement issue. If our families, and our model is we help our families help their kids attend the school of their dreams while protecting their retirement funds in the process. If you can spend as little money as possible to send your child to the school of the dreams, you have that much more money available for your own retirement.
Okay, so let's say and I love your zero to cost me nothing. I love that part. What happens when I did procrastinate and I just give up because, John, my timeline's too short?
Well, what we tell our families all the time, the only time it's too late is when your child is entering the second semester of their senior year of college, not high school. If we could progressively get every cost of semester lower, we've lowered the average cost of the entire education. It's never too late unless they're in their last year of college. Okay, so you're telling me that or you could even be in your freshman year then? We have many clients that come to us as freshmen and sophomore in college.
And you're still able to help them?
Able to help them,
okay,
yes.
All right. So procrastination could be a deal killer, but even if we're a little late to the game, if I'm here understanding you correctly, there's ways to fix this. Now, I don't want you to rely on the fix here. I want you to start right now. But think about it. When you're talking about a plan, we're going to sit down, we're going to do a data collector. We're going to do financial information. We're going to collect and gather all this. Then we're going to feed that into, you have a nice software package that you like that you use. And it's for college planning, which blows my mind. I haven't met too many planners like yourself. Usually you have a retirement plan and everything's shooting at that goal. Nothing's shooting at college planning, long-term care, all the other issues. This could be huge for people who really want to manage this and get in early. Earlier the better.
Not this could be huge. This is huge.
All right, so my bottom line is when you do a plan, and if somebody writes us and says, can you show me a plan? Do you have an example of that I can send them?
Yeah, we absolutely have a sample. And it depends on what age or stage of high school they're in. But we've worked with families, like I said, that are going into their senior year of college all the way down to freshmen in high school.
Real quick question before we close out the segment. Should people, if they're looking for monetary issues and it's really a financial crunch, junior college maybe way to go for the first 2 years?
I've told families, almost every single meeting we have with families, the most economical way to do this still, unless your child's going to get a full ride because they're an athlete or they're a Rhodes Scholar, The most economical way to do it is 2 years at the community college and then transfer to the university to finish the 4-year degree. The degree does not say, but they were only here for 2 years, right? It doesn't say that.
Right.
But mom and dad and the child oftentimes want the college experience, which maybe the community college won't give them.
Well, just keep in mind, we have high schools here in Arizona that will actually be able to get you, when they graduate from high school, they're graduating with their 2-year associate's degree.
Yep.
There's some money savings right there. Don't forget to watch our next segment on the skyrocketing crisis of college education, part 2 of our series on college funding. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counselor, or financial advisor, i.e. John. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.